Mr. Young lives here. He makes the hallway smell like food. Dad calls it chink food, but the internet told me that's a bad word. Dad says a lot of bad words. Mr. Young looks like he's made of pudding. Lots and lots of wrinkles. He barely has any hair left. His glasses are really small for how big his head is. He's pretty nice. The only bad thing is that he calls me Mikal instead of Mikal. But that's okay. I don't need to be angry. I asked him about the ghost and he said he never. He said, oh, what was it that he said? Ah, yes. He said, never turn your back on it. He said there are many ghosts where he's from and they all want to kill him. I googled Chinese ghosts and she doesn't look like any of them. I will update if I find out anything new. Entry 3. Pepper the dog lives here. Dogs aren't allowed in the building, but Mr. and Mrs. Thompson break the rule. Pepper is small and white with curly hair. She is very friendly. She likes to lick my face. She once ate my notebook, but it wasn't my field notes. It was for school, so I didn't care. Mr. and Mrs. Thompson don't look like people who break rules. They hug a lot and hold hands. I like the way Mr. Thompson looks at Miss Thompson. I asked them about the ghost and they laughed at me. Not in the mean way, in the nice way. I will update if I find out anything new. C3. No one lives here. Dad says the bitch deserved it. Dad used to like her, I think. B3. Our apartment. C1. Miss Rosa gives me candy. She always asks me about my field notes. I tell her the same thing every day. I am working on my field notes so I can work the murder. I want to be a detective someday. Dad says I'm not smart enough to be a detective, but I'm going to try. Miss Rosa nods like she's not listening. She has dementia. Her daughter comes and visits sometimes. Once her daughter's breasts fell out of her shirt and I saw her nipple. I will update if I find out anything new. A2. He doesn't talk to me. He says he hates kids. I call him Sparky because he looks like a bulldog I met once. Sparky is mean. He is nice to my dad, though. A lot of women come to his apartment and then leave. He doesn't kiss them. I know I should be nice, but sometimes I wish he would get hurt. The ghost hasn't visited yet. I will update if I find out anything new. B1. Mr. F4 touched me in my private place when he used to babysit me. Dad doesn't believe me. He says only girls get touched. I don't like being near his apartment, but I have to walk by when I'm going home. Sometimes he opens the door when I walk by and tries to talk to me. Once I peed my pants because I was scared. Dad beat me up. C3. Linny lives here. She is the prettiest girl I've ever seen. She has 2 big puffs of hair like cotton candy. Dad says her family is bad. He uses different words, but I don't want to write them down. But I like her family. Their house smells like peaches. Her mom gives a lot of hugs. At first, I didn't like it, but I do now. Dad says I want to fuck Linny. I've never fucked anyone. I asked Linny about the ghost, and she said she doesn't believe in them. I will update if I find out anything new. B4. The suicide room. She says there is skin on the walls. I ask her if it grows like mold or if it's hung like curtains. She seems surprised by the question. Like mold, she says. B1. I got the courage to ask Mr. A4 about the ghost. He says he has a show on ghosts if I want to come watch it. I tell him I don't. He starts saying something about how we hold on to people when they die, And maybe that's why I think she's still alive. I wish he was dead. A1. I show Mr. Young a picture of the ghost I drew. He asks if it looks like my mother. I never tell him I never met her. But maybe I would want her to look like this. Long hair, big gaping holes where the eyes should be. He tells me that Chinese ghosts look like people too, except they can curse you. Maybe you walk backwards forever, or lose all your limbs, or die. You know, normal things. I'm not afraid to die. The doctor said I almost died when I fake fell down the stairs, or when I fake almost drowned, or when I fake did the cuts to myself. C2. The bitch's name was Lana. She smiled at me a lot. She was missing 2 teeth. Dad says her dealer killed her. If you look online, a dealer is someone who deals cards in a poker game. But I know he means drugs. Dad has a dealer too. Maybe he will kill him. The ghost and I know it wasn't her dealer. The blood was thick and almost black. It got on the ceiling. Chunks of her fell on the floor like a dense rain. The ghost ate her bottom lip. It tasted like pork fat. B4. Mom lives here. C1. The ghost is tall and pretty. I love her. No one thinks she's real except Miss Rosa. Miss Rosa has her own ghost. I can't see it, but it makes her forget things and pretend I'm her grandson. I ask her if she believes in my ghost. She looks me in the eye, afraid, and says she wishes I would stop visiting her. I will update if I find out anything new. Sparky is Dad's dealer, I think. They always smell bad. Sparky calls the bitch a bitch and laughs. He flicks a cigarette at me. I have to dash out of the room to not get burned. The ghost snarls. B4, the suicide room. B3, Dad does nothing all day. He watches movies with naked women and smokes. I don't have to ask him if I can go out and do my field notes. He doesn't care, except when he does. Then he hurts me. The ghost watches, but she can't see. She can only hear. I am not good. I am good at not screaming. I ask Dad about the ghost. He calls me a faggot. She is going to kill him tonight. B4, I can't go here, but she can. B3, I tell Dad he's moving to the B4. He spits at me. The saliva drips down my cheek. The ghost licks it off. When he sees her, he is scared. He tells her to put the knife down. Faggot is too afraid to do anything anyway. The ghost rips his throat out, just like the bitch. The bitch was practice. Dad dies from swallowing his own blood. The ghost drinks deeply. I am bathed in it. I call the cops. The killer is back, I say. He killed my dad. The ghost and I split the bottom lip. B4, the murder room now. Mom and Dad live here. I'm going to live in another building with a different mom and dad. The ghost is coming with me.